Ladies and gentlemen, please may I have you all take your seats.
of country or countries across the board. With that in mind, this session is particularly important. It's the presidential session, and I know you have all the information in your program, and I won't repeat that. Excepting I will say that we want silence as I now hand over to the moderator of this particular session, which is South Africa's Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Minister Rob Davies. If you can give him applause as well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Ashraf. We are just awaiting the signal that the two presidents will be joining us together with the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa and also my colleague, Minister Oreshkin of Russia. So when the presidents come in, then Minister Oreshkin, Deputy President, myself will join the two presidents on the stage. So I will just indicate when they are coming and then ask if we can just stand to welcome the two heads of state that will be joining us. Minister Zong, if you can also join us on the stage when, not now, just when the heads of state come along. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's all we are. That's all we are.
I think it will be a packed audience. Yes. 超过1000号人。
Well, the name is going to sort that out. Go and ask them. Yeah, I can come and talk to him. Okay, fine. Can we stand and welcome the heads of state, President Ramaphosa, President Xi Jinping. And could we also welcome on the stage the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Deputy President Didi Mabuza. Please be seated. Please be seated. Your Excellency, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, Chairperson of the 10th Brics Summit and President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency, President Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, Your Excellency, Mr. Didi Mabuza, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency, Mr. Zong, Minister of Commerce of the People's Republic of China, Your Excellency, Mr. Orishkin, Minister of Trade and Industry of the Russian Federation. My name is Rob Davies. I'm the Minister of Trade and Industry of the Republic of South Africa, and I'm your Program Director this afternoon. It's my singular honor to welcome our esteemed heads of state and government to this important BRICS Business Forum. Tomorrow you will be receiving the consolidated report. All the heads of state will receive the consolidated report of the BRICS Business Council, which reflects the work that's been done on BRICS cooperation at the business level over the past year. My task at the moment is to give you a very brief summary of what transpired today in the BRICS Business Forum before inviting Your Excellencies to address this particular, what's called presidential slot in the program of the BRICS Business Forum. Let me then say that we started off with an interactive session with ministers and or representatives of governments of our member states. And this began also with a reflection on what is it that we have achieved over the past 5 years in the area of cooperation around trade and investment relations. And some of the highlights of the achievements, I think, included the fact that we have, in addition to this engagement, which has been part of the BRICS architecture since the beginning. In addition to that, we have established the BRICS Business Council as an institution that promotes intra-business cooperation on a continuous basis throughout the year. In addition to that, we think that the formalization of the outreach programs, whereby we engage with other countries from the regions surrounding the host of the BRICS Summit each year, is another achievement. And then we have developed, I think, a number of additional sectoral engagements which are relevant in different parts of our cooperation program. But in the area of trade and investment relations, I think the two that stand out are that we now have regular meetings of industry ministers as well as now of small business ministers. And these achievements, we think, are a significant step towards deepening our cooperation in this area. We reflected on the meaning and significance of the current challenges in the global trading environment. And here, I think we reached the conclusion that the circumstances that we are confronting require us to deepen our cooperation as a defense against trends towards multilateralism and towards undermining the multilateral rules-based trading system, which all of us consider to be an important part of the trade architecture that we need to defend. We noted that intra-BRICS investment remains a relatively small part of total BRICS investment. In fact, the figure that we became aware of is it's about 6% of total BRICS foreign investment. And this, we think, points to the need to strengthen investment relations, building even on other initiatives of BRICS, such as the funding of projects through the New Development Bank. We reflected on how do we use an investment relationship to build on the objective that we all have of increasing intra-BRICS trade. And we said that we are not going to be able to simply expand intra-BRICS trade if it is structurally based on some of us are suppliers of primary products and others of us are suppliers of finished goods. That what we need to do is we need to work together to ensure that all of us are moving up value chains, all of us are becoming producers of more complex products, and that we move into the space which is in fact the biggest and growing part of international trade, trade in intermediate products. And from this, I think that some of us were putting forward a phrase that we need to be supporting investment-led trade, investment that will build productive capacity and lay a more sustainable basis for an increase of mutually beneficial trade. Then the deliberations moved into the business-to-business section, and here there were discussions in a number of work groups. The first of these was focusing on investment and industrialization. And here the discussion tended to focus on specific projects and specific ideas for deepening levels of beneficiation of products that are traded among us. And two, I think, specific examples were mentioned. One was in diamonds and the opportunity for adding value to diamonds that are produced before being exported. And the other one was in the area of citrus fruit. Those two were identified. So I think that what is being looked at project level is the identification of ways we can work together to add value to different products. There was a discussion also of BRICS countries' roles on the African continent. And here the point was made that we are all involved in the African continent in one way or another, and often we are directly competing with each other. And the sense that came out of the discussion was that there is also a possibility for us to enhance and increase the impact of our role on the African continent if we find the complementarities that can enable us to work together more effectively. One example that was mentioned was gas beneficiation projects, drawing on the gas findings that have been made by a number of countries, particularly here in Southern Africa. There was a discussion also on the fourth industrial revolution, and here I think the phrase that is often used about the fourth industrial revolution, that these technologies are going to bring about disruptive change, it led to the development of a new phrase, and that was that we need to disrupt in order to accelerate growth. Specifically, I think that there was a sense that we need to find again the complementarities and to enhance our cooperation, including in areas of skills development, education and training for the fourth industrial revolution, the rollout of electronic commerce, and that if we worked in a way actively to promote inclusivity, the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution could be a significant catalyst to growth and advanced manufacturing. And the sense was that some of us at least are well poised to quickly make the transition from the third to the fourth industrial revolution. Issues of digital literacy and digital connectivity were also raised. Your Excellencies, that's a very brief summary of what I think were a number of rich discussions. We also emphasized the need for practical cooperation at project-to-project level, because investment in the end of the day depends on business people coming together, identifying opportunities, and working to make those opportunities a reality. With that brief report, it's now my pleasure and honor to invite President Ramaphosa to address the Business Forum. President Ramaphosa, the floor is yours.
Program Director, Minister Davies, President Xi Jinping, the President of the People's Republic of China, President Esuzimba Gnasimbe, President of Togo, former Prime Minister of Egypt, Mr. Ismail, Deputy President David Mabuza, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, and Chairperson of the Brics Business Council, business leaders who are all gathered here, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. It does indeed give me a great deal of pleasure to welcome you all to the Brics Business Forum, and in a way to really endorse the welcome that you have already received from our colleagues here. This Business Forum has become an important and vital platform for the development of economic cooperation between the BRICS member countries. We welcome you to our shores and to our country just a week after the world marked the centenary of the birth of the father of our democracy and a global icon, President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. We invoke his name here because the work we are here to do requires us to build on the foundations that Nelson Mandela laid for the advancement of democracy, world peace, human solidarity, international cooperation, and mutual respect. And in many ways, many of us feel like we are carrying on the work that he started. This year also marks a decade of BRICS collaboration, during which we have successfully shaped an ambitious agenda for the development that requires the great potential our countries possess for collective action. Intra-BRICS cooperation has been gaining momentum and meaning in areas such as finance, agriculture, trade, combating transnational crime, science and technology, health, education, security, and academic dialogue. One of the most important achievements, and there have been many, many achievements that we can talk about as the BRICS family, has been in the first decade of BRICS, was the establishment of the new development bank, which fills a critical gap in project funding. But the establishment of this BRICS Business Council, as Minister Davis has said, has also been an outstanding achievement. To be able to get so many business people from all the BRICS countries, including some outreach countries that we invite to the Brics Summit, is quite phenomenal. And for this, we count it as an outstanding achievement. And indeed, the other important achievement which Minister Davis also highlights is to have set up a forum of a number of countries that we call outreach countries that are part of the Brics Summit. And this year, these will also be accompanied by a number of countries in our own region who will be participating in the outreach activities. This also is an important achievement. The sectoral engagements that the BRICS Summit offers us and which the BRICS Business Council has been able to take forward are also something that we appreciate, because they are able to get people to engage and talk about things that really matter in the lives of our people. Since its formation, just talking about the bank has dispersed loans totaling $5.1 billion, with approvals amounting to $1.7 billion this year alone. As we enter the second decade of BRICS cooperation, we are determined to expand the bank's role in economic and social development. We are meeting here, ladies and gentlemen, at a time when the multilateral trading system is facing unprecedented challenges. We are concerned by the rise in unilateral measures that are incompatible with World Trade Organization rules, and we are worried about the impact of these measures, especially as they impact developing countries and economies. These developments call for thorough discussion on the role of trade in growing and in promoting sustainable development, particularly inclusive growth. The BRICS countries are increasingly recognized as an influential formation in reinforcing principles of transparency, inclusiveness, and compatibility within the multilateral trading system. There is also much scope to expand the value of trade between BRICS countries themselves. As a country that is primarily an exporter of commodities to its BRICS partners, South Africa supports a shift towards complementary value-added trade. Linked to the trade agenda, we need to increase investment between BRICS countries, particularly in the productive sectors of our economies. We also require a strategic roadmap regarding the opportunities presented by the fourth industrial revolution and the measures required to mitigate its very disruptive effect on industry. I am pleased that these are some of the areas under discussion in this business forum. I look forward to the concrete proposals and the wisdom that will come from your deliberations. These should then be presented to the summit for consideration. Equally important are your deliberations on the BRICS Africa cooperation. As South Africa, we are determined that our engagements within BRICS and other multilateral platforms should advance the integration and development of the African continent. There is great potential for investment in Africa. In the past decade, Africa has grown at a rate of 2 to 3% points faster than the global GDP, with regional growth predicted to remain stable above 5% in 2018. This growth will be supported by increasing foreign direct investment flows, public investment in infrastructure, and higher agricultural production. In addition to this, Africa's working age population is expected to double to 1 billion people in the next 25 years. More opportunities are also going to be presented by the agreement to establish the African Continental Free Trade Area, which provides access to a market of well over 1 billion people and a combined GDP of $3 trillion. The value of this free trade area will only be fully realized through massive investment in infrastructure and skills development. And therein lies great opportunities for businesses to participate, because this presents opportunities for BRICS countries, some of whom have extensive experience in infrastructure development and are world leaders in education as well as in skills development. Distinguished guests, this business forum provides a platform to also harness the benefits of globalization and to also confront the challenges it presents, all within an ever-changing global political economy. As South Africa, we have acknowledged that to effectively deal with some of the key challenges that we face, they being poverty, unemployment, and inequality, we need to significantly increase the level of investment in our economy to lift growth as well as to create jobs for the many people in our country who are unemployed. We have embarked to address this on an investment drive that has taken us to meet with investors in various parts of the world, which will culminate in an investment conference which we will hold later this year. We are seeking, as we do this, to reinforce the strong bonds that we developed with our BRICS partners by expanding investment in our country. We are building on the vast investment potential that South Africa possesses. Our partners in BRICS are familiar with our world-class transport and telecommunication infrastructure. They are also well aware and are well versed with a supportive operating environment that we have in South Africa, as well as a very sophisticated financial and banking system. We have been steadily improving the ease of doing business in our country, providing dedicated support to investors through an entity we set up called Invest SA, and developing an attractive package of incentives. We are also working to diversify our economy on an ongoing basis. A wide range of investment opportunities are available in such areas as renewable energy, recycling, biofuels, water infrastructure, energy, mining and minerals beneficiation, agriculture and agro-processing, aquaculture, tourism, shipbuilding and repairs, business process outsourcing, advanced manufacturing, fuel cell production, aerospace, as well as defense. South Africa is determined to derive greater value from its abundant natural resources and to steadily advance up the value chain into knowledge-based sectors of the economy. We are embracing new technologies as we move ahead to diversify our economy, and approaches that are merging the physical and digital and biological worlds are also being exploited. We are committed to walking this path together with our BRICS partners. It is therefore imperative that we collectively navigate the risks and leverage the opportunities that arise from this new digital age that has arrived. There is much we can do together to develop appropriate regulatory frameworks, infrastructure and skills to support and enable the fourth industrial revolution. Our task is to give practical expression to an economic partnership that will catapult the industrialization of our respective economies beyond the digital age. While trade amongst BRICS partners has expanded exponentially over the last 10 years, we need to advance to a new level of industrial cooperation. Addressing the demands of both the present and the future requires the same unity of purpose that brought BRICS into existence and which has sustained it over the last decade. We look to you, our distinguished business community, to be at the center of our collective efforts to forge a new economic path. We look to you to be ready to realize the vast potential that exists for investment and trade, because we would like you to be our partners in building inclusive economies that create shared prosperity for all the people in the BRICS countries. With this, I wish you every success in your deliberations, more particularly as you come up with solutions, proposals that you will put forward to the summit so that the BRICS leaders will consider your proposals and take effective decisions that will be able to propel our countries forward. I thank you for being here and thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for those very cogent and inspiring remarks, Mr. President. It's now my pleasure to invite His Excellency President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China to address the Business Forum.
尊敬的拉玛福萨
Your Excellency President Ramaphosa,
尊敬的多哥总统
Your Excellency Faure, President of Togo,
尊敬的马布扎副总统
Your Excellency Vice President Mabuza,
各位部长
Ministers,
各位工商界的朋友
friends from the business
女士们、
community,
先生们、
ladies and gentlemen, friends,
下午好
good afternoon.
很高兴再次来到
I am delighted
彩
to
虹之
visit
国
South Africa, the Rainbow
同大家
Nation,
相聚
once
在
again,
风景
and
秀
meet
丽
you
的
here in the
约翰内
beautiful
斯堡
city of Johannesburg.
5年前
5 years ago,
我担任中国国家主席之
I
后
took
出席的
office
首场国
as
际
the
峰
Chinese
会
president, and the first international
就是
summit
在
I attended
德班
was the
举
5th
行的
Brics
金砖
Summit
国家领导
held
人第
in
5次会议
Durban.
3年前
And 3 years ago,
就在这座会
right
议中
here
心
in this convention
我
center,
同非洲各
together
国领
with
导人一道
African leaders,
出席了中非
I
合作论
attended
坛
the
约翰内斯
FOCAG
堡峰会
Johannesburg Summit.
时隔3年
Well, 3 years on,
再次踏上
I
非洲
once
大陆
again set foot on the African
我深切
continent,
感受到
and I was
非
greatly
洲大陆
struck
的蓬勃
by
发
the
展
robust growth and strong
欣欣向荣。
vitality of this piece of land.
2017年9月
In September
在各方大力支持
2017,
下
thanks to the strong support
中
of
国
all
成功举
participating
办了
parties, China
金砖
successfully
国家领导人
hosted
厦门
the
会晤。
Brics Summit.
5国领导人一致决定
We, as
深化
BRICS
战略伙伴
leaders,
关系
agreed unanimously to
巩
strengthen
固
our strategic
经贸
partnership,
财经
consolidate
政治安全
the cooperation architecture
人文交流
with its 3 main
三
drivers,
轮驱动
namely
合作
economic
架构
cooperation, political and security
确立了
cooperation, and people-to-people
金
exchanges.
专家
We thus laid
合
out
作
a
理念
vision of BRICS Plus
共同
cooperation,
开创
and we jointly
金砖合
ushered
作第二
in
个
the second golden
金色的
decade
10
of
年。
BRICS cooperation.
我听说
I understand that
约翰内斯堡在
in the Nguni
恩古尼
language,
语中被称之为
Johannesburg
黄
means
金之
the
城，
place of gold.
在黄金之城勾画
In this sense,
金
we
色
just
10
cannot
年
find
的
a better place
蓝图美景，
to chart the course
再恰当不
for
过
our。golden decade than in this city of
我
gold.
期待着同各位领导人一
Here
道
in Johannesburg,
推动金砖合
I look
作，
forward to
从约
working
翰内
with
斯堡
other
再
BRICS
出发，
leaders to embark
踏
on
上
a
新
new
征程，
journey of BRICS cooperation
新使
and
命。
fulfill our new mission.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，
Ladies and gentlemen,
金砖机制的诞生和
friends,
发展
the BRICS mechanism
是世
owes
界
its
经济
birth
变
and
迁
growth to the evolution
和国际格
of
局
the global
演变的
economy
产物。
and the changing international landscape.
在第一个10年里，
The first decade
金砖合作
saw
趁
BRICS
势而起，
cooperation getting off the
亮
ground
眼纷呈。
and bearing rich fruit.
5国秉持
Our
开放、
5
包
BRICS
容、
countries,
合作共
guided
赢
by
的
the
金
BRICS
砖
spirit of
精神，
openness, inclusiveness, and willing
推动各领域
cooperation,
务实合作
have
不断
deepened
深
our
入，
collaboration,
深化了团结互
enhanced
信，
our solidarity and
增
mutual
进了5
trust,
国人民福祉，
improved the lives of our peoples,
拉紧了利
and
益
made
和
our bond
情
of
感
interest
纽
and
带，
friendship even closer.
为世界经济企
It
稳
is fair
复
to
苏
say that our cooperation has
并重回
contributed
增长
much
之路
to the global economic
做出了突
recovery
出贡献。
and growth.
当今世界
Today,
正面
we
临
are
100年
witnessing
未有
major
之大
changes
变局，
unfolding in our world, something unseen
对
in a
广大
century.
新兴国家和发展中国家而言，
For us emerging markets and
这个世界
developing countries, this
既
is a
充满
world
机遇，
of both opportunities
也存在
and
挑战。
challenges.
我们要在国际格局
We
演
should
变的
put
历史
the
进程
pursuit
中
of BRICS cooperation
运筹
in
金
the
砖合
historical
作，
process of global
在世界
transformation,
发展和金
and
砖
we
国家
should
共同
put
发
the
展的历史
development
进
of
程
our own
中，
countries in the historical
谋求
course of
自身发
promoting
展。
common development of BRICS countries
在金色
and
10年里
other
实
countries
现
in the world,
新的
thus
飞跃。
making new advances in the next golden decade.
未来10年
The next
将
decade
是世
will
界
be
经
a
济
crucial one in which new
动能
global
转
growth
换的
drivers will
关
take the
键时
place of old ones.
人工智能、
A new round of revolution
大数据、
and transformation in science,
量子
technology,
信
and
息、
industries
生物
featuring
技术
artificial
等新一
intelligence,
轮科技
big
革命
data, quantum
和产业
information,
变
and
革
biotechnology
正在
are
积聚力
gaining
量，
momentum.
催生大
They are
量新
giving
产
birth
业、
to a large
新
number
业
of new
态、
industries
新
and
模式，
business forms and models,
给全球发
and
展和
they
人
will
类生产生
fundamentally
活
change
带来了
global
翻天覆
development
地的变
and
化。
people's work and lives.
我们要抓住
We
这个重
must
大机
seize
遇，
this important
推
opportunity
动新兴
to
市场
enable
国家
emerging
和
markets
发展
and
中国
developing
家
countries
实现
to
跨越式
achieve
发展。
leapfrog development.
未来10年
The next
将是
decade
国际格局
will
和力
see
量对
faster
比
changes
加
in
速
the international
演变的
landscape
10年。
and the international alignment of forces.
新兴市场国家
Emerging
和发
markets
展
and
中国
developing
家
countries
对世界经
already
济增长的
contribute
贡献率
80%
已经达到
of global
80%。
economic growth.
按汇率法计算，
Based on exchange
这些
rate
国家的经济
calculation,
总量
these countries
占世界的
account
比
for
重接近40%。
nearly 40% of the global economic output.
保持现在的发展速度，
Growing at the current
10年后
rate, these countries
将接近世界
will
总
see
量
their
一半。
economic output approach half of the global total in a decade.
新兴市场国家和发展
The
中国
collective
家
rise of emerging markets
群
and
体性
developing
崛起
countries is
势不可挡，
unstoppable
将使全球发展
and
的
will
版
make
图
global development
更加全
more
面
balanced,
均衡，
and
使
it
世
will
界
make
和平的基
global
础
peace
更为坚
more
实稳固。
firmly based.
未来10年
The next decade
将是全球
will
治理
see
体
a
系
profound reshaping of the global
重塑的10
governance
年。
system.
世界多极化
The world is moving
经济
toward
全球化
multipolarity
在曲折
and
中
greater
前行。
economic globalization
地
amid
缘政治
setbacks.
热点、
Geopolitical
此起
hotspots
彼
keep
伏
emerging,
恐怖主义、
and the dark
武
shadow
装
of
冲突的阴
terrorism and
霾
armed
挥
conflict
之不去，
still haunts us.
单边主义、保护主
Unilateralism
义
and
越
protectionism
演
are
越烈，
mounting,
多边主义和多边贸易
dealing
体
a
制
severe blow
受到
to
严重冲击。
multilateralism and the multilateral trading
要
regime.
合作还是要对立？
We are facing a choice
要开放
between cooperation and
还是要封闭？
confrontation, between opening up and
要互利共赢
closed-door policy,
还是
and
要以
between
邻
mutual
为策？
benefit and a beggar thy neighbor
国际社
approach.
会
The international
来到
community has
何
again
去何
reached
从
a
的
new
十字
crossroads.
路口。全球治理体系的走向，关乎各
The
国，特别
evolution
是
of
新
global
兴市场
governance
国
system
家
will have a
和
profound
发展中
impact
国家
on the
发展
development of
空
all
间。
countries, particularly
关乎全
emerging
世界
markets and developing
繁荣
countries,
稳定。
and indeed on the prosperity and stability of the whole world.
金砖国家要顺应历史大势，
We BRICS countries should
把握
keep
发展
abreast
机遇，
of the historical trend,
合力
seize
克服
development
挑战，
opportunities, jointly meet
为构建
challenges,
新型国际
and
关
play a
系，
constructive role
构建
in
人
building
类
a
命
new
运
type
共
of
同体，
international relations
发
and
挥
a community
建设性
with
作
a
用。
shared future for mankind. First, we should pursue win-win cooperation to build an open economy.
开放合作
Openness and
是科技
cooperation,
进步和生产力发
they
展
are
的
the
必然
sure
逻
way
辑。
to achieve progress in science and
贸易
technology
战不可取，
and growth of
因为
productivity.
不会有
A
赢
trade
家。
war should be rejected because
经济
there will
霸
be
权
no
主义
winner.
更要不得，
Economic hegemony is
因为
even
这
more
将损害
objectionable
国际社会
because
共
it
同
will
利益，
undermine the collective
最
interest
终
of the
也将
international
搬起
community.
石头
Those who
砸
pursue
自
this
己的
course
脚。
will only end up hurting themselves.
在世界经济经历
As
深
the world
刻
economy is going through profound
调整变
transition
革之
and
时，
changes,
只有开
only
放
by
才
opening
能使不同
themselves
国家
can different countries
相互受
achieve
益，
mutual benefit,
共同繁荣，持
share
久发展，
prosperity, and sustainable
才是各国
development.
应当做
This
出的
should be
明
the
智
right
选择。
choice for all countries. We BRICS countries should firmly promote an open global economy. We should be resolute in rejecting unilateralism and protectionism, promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and jointly steer the global economy toward greater openness, greater inclusiveness, balanced growth, and win-win outcomes for all. We should ensure that economic globalization would deliver more benefits. We should help emerging markets and developing countries, African countries, and the least developed countries in particular, to fully involve themselves in international division of labor and share in the benefits of globalization. Second, we should pursue innovation and seize development opportunities. Science and technology are the primary production forces, and they have provided inexhaustible power driving the progress of human civilization. Humanity has made giant leaps forward as it progressed from an agricultural civilization to an industrial civilization, a process which created both huge gains in social productivity and growing pains. The world today has once again reached a critical historic juncture. In the unfolding new round of scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation, new things will inevitably emerge and take the place of old ones. Indeed, this will be a difficult and painful process. But if countries succeed in seizing opportunities that have presented themselves, they will be able to achieve new dynamic growth and deliver better lives to the people. In the face of new opportunities brought by new science and technology, every country has an equal right to development. Those who fail to keep abreast of the trend of the times will fall behind and become irrelevant. What we can and should do is to seize opportunities, increase input in innovation, focus on new areas of growth, and replace old drivers with new ones. We should endeavor to advance structural reform, remove all institutional barriers to innovation, and fully unlock innovation potential and energize the market. We should develop a global perspective, boost international exchanges and cooperation in innovation, fully leverage each other's comparative strengths and resource endowment so as to enable more countries and people to benefit from scientific and technological advances. At the same time, we should ease the impact of application of information technology, automation, and smart technology on traditional industries. And we should create new job opportunities in the process of fostering new industries. Third, we should pursue inclusive growth to deliver benefits to people of all countries. Uneven and insufficient development is a common challenge facing all countries. There is a gap between developed countries and emerging markets and developing countries, i.e. the North-South gap remains huge, and there are also development gaps of varying degrees within countries. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides a comprehensive action plan for the international community. We BRICS countries should, basing ourselves on our actual national conditions, follow the guidance of the 2030 Agenda as we pursue our own development strategies. We should put people first, ensure coordinated economic and social development, and protect the environment, thus giving our people a stronger sense of fulfillment and happiness. We should ensure harmony between man and nature and encourage the international community to fully implement the Paris Agreement. We should treat nature with awe and do more to foster an ecological system conducive to green development. It is necessary to promote international development cooperation, urge developed countries to fulfill their promises on official development assistance, and urge them to increase support to developing countries. Africa is home to more developing countries than any other continent, and Africa has more development potential than any other region in the world. We should strengthen cooperation with Africa, support its development, and make Brics Africa cooperation a model for South-South cooperation. We should actively carry out cooperation with African countries in such areas as poverty reduction, food security, innovation, infrastructure development, and industrialization in a way compatible with their national conditions. We should help African countries develop their economic structure, contribute to the implementation of Agenda 2063 of the African Union, and thus enable Africa, an ancient continent, to gain strong vitality.
Fourth, we should uphold multilateralism and improve global governance. An enabling and stable external environment is crucial for the development of all countries, especially emerging markets and developing countries. Obviously, the current international order is not a perfect one. But as long as it is rule-based, aims to be equitable, and pursues win-win outcomes as its goal, such an international order should not be discarded as one pleases, still less should it be dismantled and restructured. We BRICS countries must uphold multilateralism. We should urge all parties to fully observe collectively adopted international rules, and we should treat all countries as equals, regardless of their size, address issues that matter to all through consultation, and oppose hegemony and power politics. We should promote common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security, get actively involved in mediation efforts for resolving geopolitical hotspot issues. It is important for us to firmly support the multilateral trading regime, advance global economic governance reform, and increase the representation and voice of emerging markets and developing countries. When new rules are made on such issues as innovation, trade and investment, and intellectual property protection, or on new frontiers, including cyberspace, outer space, or the polar regions, we should make sure that the views of emerging markets and developing countries are heeded, their interests and demands are taken into consideration, and there are sufficient opportunities for their development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, this year marks the 40th anniversary of China's reform and opening up. Success only comes through hard work. During the past 40 years, China has come a long way. With strenuous efforts, China has blazed the path of building socialism with distinctive Chinese features. Proceeding from China's realities and developing a global vision, we in China have both drawn strengths from the wisdom of the time-honored Chinese civilization and learned from other countries, both East and West. We have embraced the world and integrated our country fully into it. While pursuing its own development, China has made its own important contribution to the peace and development of mankind. As the world's biggest developing country, China will ride the trend of the times. and pursue innovation-driven, coordinated, green and open development for all. We will step up efforts to pursue innovation-driven development and fully engage in international cooperation on innovation and technologies. We will take an active part in South-South cooperation to foster greater opportunities for common development of emerging markets and developing countries. China will continue to develop itself with its door wide open. At the annual conference of the Boao Forum for Asia held last April, I announced a number of new initiatives to open China further, and these initiatives are being speedily pursued. China will build a more investment-friendly environment that is aligned with international standards, more transparent and law-based, and encourages competition and opposes monopoly. China will take tough law enforcement steps to strengthen protection of intellectual property rights, to make infringements even more costly. We encourage companies to maintain normal technological exchanges and will see to it that their lawful intellectual property rights are protected. China will also increase imports to promote balance of payment under the current account. China will host the first China International Import Expo in Shanghai this November, a major move to firmly support trade liberalization and open its market. The expo will serve as a new platform for the world to access the Chinese market. By now, over 130 countries and regions and more than 2,800 companies have confirmed participation, and over 150,000 buyers in and outside China are expected to attend this fair. I welcome business leaders from other BRICS and African countries to attend the expo. China will continue to vigorously pursue the Belt and Road Initiative to create new opportunities of social and economic development for participating countries and for them to implement the UN 2030 Agenda. The Belt and Road Initiative, guided by the principle of seeking shared benefits through extensive consultation and joint contribution, originated in China but belongs to the world. It is our sincere hope that other BRICS countries, African countries, and other emerging markets and developing countries will forge strong partnerships with this initiative so that its benefits will reach more countries and their peoples. China and African countries are destined to be good friends, good brothers and good partners. And China-Africa cooperation stands as a fine example of South-South cooperation. This coming September will see a reunion of China and African countries at the summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing. Themed on China and Africa toward an even stronger community with a shared future through win-win cooperation, the Beijing Summit aims to enhance complementarity between China-Africa joint efforts to pursue the Belt and Road Initiative, the 2030 Agenda and the 2063 Agenda on the one hand, and the development strategies of African countries on the other. This will enable China and Africa to pursue high-quality and high-standard cooperation for mutual benefit and common development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, business cooperation is the most important and fruitful aspect of BRICS cooperation. Thanks to our joint efforts, new advances have been made in this cooperation this year.
我们将共同
We
建
BRICS
设
countries
金砖国
will
家
forge
新工业
a
革命伙
partnership
伴关
on the
系，
new industrial
加
revolution,
强宏观经
which
济政策
involves
协调，
more coordination of
促进创
macroeconomic
新和工业
policies,
化合作，
closer cooperation on innovation
联手
and
加快经济
industrialization,
新旧动能
and
转
joint
换
efforts to
和转
accelerate
型升级。
economic upgrading and the
五国还
replacement
在
of
贸易
growth
便利化、
drivers. Our 5
服务贸易、
BRICS countries
电子
have also
商务、
made good
知识产
progress
权等
in
方面深
cooperation
化合
on
作，
trade
取
facilitation,
得了积极
service
成
trade,
果。
e-commerce, intellectual
这些措
property
施有
rights,
利于我
and
们
in
在
other
当
fields.
今世界变局
These
中抓
steps
住机
will
遇，
enable us
应对
to
挑
seize
战，也
opportunities
有利于我
and
们
meet
把金
challenges in
砖
the
经济伙
changing
伴
world
战略
and
落到
enrich
实
the
处。
BRICS economic partnership strategy.
工商界
The business
是金
community
砖经济合作的
is
主
the
力军。
mainstay of BRICS
生力
economic
军
cooperation and a dynamic force
在
driving
开
it.
创第二个金色10年过程
As
中，
business
工
leaders,
商界
you have a
大
great
有
role
可
to
为。
play in shaping the
希望各位
second
企业家
golden
朋友
decade of BRICS
充分发挥
cooperation.
各自的
I
优
hope
势
that，you will fully leverage
促
your
进五
strengths
国互
to
利共
enhance
赢，
win-win
实现共
cooperation
同发
for
展。
common development between our
希望你
5
们勇于
countries.
改革创新，
As business
敢
leaders,
于
you
先
should
行
take
先
bold
试，
steps to explore new
为五
ground
国发
in
展，
pursuing
为
reform and
新兴市场
innovation.
国家
And working
和发展
together,
中国
you
家
can
共同
surely
发展，
open up new
闯
horizon
出一
for the
片
development
天地。
of our 5 countries and other emerging
希望你
markets
们
and
密切
developing
结合人民
countries.
实际需要，
I also
既
hope
追
you
求
will
经
keep
济
in
效益
mind，the needs of
也
the
注
people
重社会
and
效益，
pursue both
筑
economic
牢
and
金
social
砖合
returns
作
so as to
民意
increase
基础。
public support for BRICS cooperation.
女士们、先生们、
Ladies and gentlemen,
朋友们，
friends,
今年是
this
曼德
year
拉先
marks
生
the
诞辰
centenary of the
100周年。
birth of Nelson Mandela.
他有一句名
Let me
言：
quote one of his famous sayings.
攀上一座高
After
山后，
climbing a great
你会
hill,
发现还有
one
更多
only
的高
finds
山
that there are
等着
many
你
more
去攀登。
hills to climb.
金砖合作的历
Indeed,
程，
the history of BRICS
正是五
cooperation
国
is a journey
携
of
手
our 5
勇
countries
攀高峰
climbing great hills
不断
only to
超越的
reach
历程。
new heights.
只要金
I
砖
am
国家携
convinced
手
that
同
when our
心，
5 countries forge
就能
ahead
不断攀
together,
越
we will scale new
险峰
peaks,
峭壁，
reach new heights,
攀登新的高峰，达到
And
新的高度，为
we will be
人
able
类
to make
和
even
平与
greater
发展的
contribution
崇高
to
事业
peace and development
做出新的
of
更大的贡
mankind.
献。谢谢大家。
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much indeed for those very comprehensive but also very visionary remarks, President Xi Jinping. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we still have 2 items on the agenda for this session, but I have been informed that our 2 heads of state need to leave us at this point. So if we could all plan to remain, but if we can just stand and allow the 2 heads of state to leave us now. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we resume our seats so we can continue with the remaining 2 items in our program? We are now going to receive some, we could just, if I could just invite everyone to just settle down for the remaining 2 items, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to receive some remarks on behalf of the Russian Federation. and those remarks will be delivered by my colleague, Mr. Maxim Orishkin, who is actually I got it wrong before, the Minister of the Economy of the Russian Federation, Minister Orishkin.
Спасибо большое. Я буду говорить
Thank you
по-русски.
very much. I will speak
Добрый день,
Russian. Good
уважаемые
day,
друзья.
dear colleagues,
Очень,
friends.
во-первых, приятно
It's my
находиться
pleasure
на
to be
южноафриканской
here
земле.
in
Хочу сказать
South
большое
Africa, and
спасибо
I would like to
организаторам
say great thank
за
you to the organizers
мероприятие.
of this event.
Текущий саммит БРИКС,
The summit,
10-й
Brics
по
Summit
счету,
is the 10th,
в 2009 году, когда в Екатеринбурге в России
2009,
состоялся
when in
первый
Ekaterinburg in
саммит,
Russia was the
совокупный
first
ВВП
summit,
стран-участниц тогда отставал от ВВП стран Большой Семерки примерно на 40%. Сейчас ситуация изменилась, теперь уже на первом месте страны БРИКС, они уже лидируют с преимуществом в 10%. Что очень важно, за это время изменился не только размер экономик, но и их структура. Она становится более сложной в экономиках, появляются новые отрасли.